Welcome to 12-Gauge Investigative True Crime. Enjoy the content.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to True Crime with 12 Gauge Investigative. My name is 12 Gauge. This morning, we're going to talk about the obsession next door, the Stephen McDaniel case. Chapter 1, Back in Time. There are cases that stick with you, not because of the gore, but because of how closely the evil hides behind the mask of brilliance. Today, we go back to one such case. A story I've covered before, but one I felt needed revisiting, this time through a deeper lens, the case of Stephen McDaniel. On the surface, it's a classic American success story, law student, graduation, the pursuit of justice. But buried beneath was a narrative far more sinister. It wasn't just about murder, it was about obsession, entitlement, and how genius can become the greatest threat. Chapter 2, The Victim and the Setting. Lauren Giddings, 27, had just graduated from Mercer University School of Law. Driven and compassionate, her goal was to become a public defender. She had it all lined up: a supportive family, a loving long-distance relationship, and a home at Barrister Saul, an apartment complex built for law students right across from campus. Her dog, Butterbean, was her closest companion. Lauren was vibrant, witty, and wore pink to court, breaking the sea of black suits and unapologetic personality. But the man next door, Stephen McDaniel, was watching. Not just occasionally, not out of curiosity. He was stalking, filming, plotting. Chapter 3, Unsettling Feelings. In the days leading up to her disappearance, Lauren felt something wasn't right. She confided in friends and family that things in her apartment seemed moved. Energy shifted. No signs of forced entry, just an overwhelming feeling of being watched. What she didn't know was that Stephen had a master key to the building. He'd already broken into other apartments. He was practicing. Chapter 4, Disappearance. On June 25th, 2011, Lauren sent an email to her boyfriend. She was uneasy. Still, she pressed on, studying for the Georgia bar exam, attending her sister's wedding, preparing to move. She sent a final group message. She was hunkering down to study. After that, there was no more correspondence. Friends began to worry. Lauren never went anywhere without her phone, keys, or her purse. Her car remained parked, her apartment silent. Chapter 5, A Grim Discovery. On June 30th, 2011, police were called. As they searched the exterior, a gust of wind blew from the trash bins behind the building, carrying with it an unmistakable stench of human decomposition. Inside one of the bins, a black garbage bag containing a female torso. Forensic investigators used luminol in Lauren's bathroom. The tub lit up like a crime scene straight out of a textbook. Blood soaked the porcelain, even as someone tried to scrub it away. Dr. Jonathan Harrington, forensic pathologist, noted the killer had a rudimentary understanding of blood cleanup. He missed high velocity droplets on the shower curtain, rail, and grout lines, but the luminol told the story. Chapter 6, The Neighbor. Stephen McDaniel gave interviews to the media expressing concern, but in a now infamous moment, a reporter casually mentioned a body had been found. Stephen froze. His face went blank. "A body?" he stuttered. Then I said, "I think I need to sit down." What the world saw in a moment was a live unraveling. Chapter 7. The Mask Comes Off. Investigators searched McDaniel's apartment. They found a master key, a hacksaw package, Lauren's underwear, weapons, flash drives with disturbing child pornography, footage of Lauren filmed secretly through her blinds with a phone taped to a broomstick. He was arrested for burglary, but police knew what they had. Chapter 8. Digital Trails and Forensics. Stephen's computer held decades of damning data. He wrote fictional confessions under screen names. He searched for trash pickup times, body decomposition, and even instructions on hacking locks. Experts uncovered deleted videos from the night of the murder. Stephen filming her apartment window in the dark, zooming in slowly. One forensic tech said he'd been fantasizing about this moment for months, maybe years. His digital history included necrophilia-related content and detailed posts describing fake murders that mirrored Lauren's case. Chapter 9. The Confession. In April 2014, days before his trial, McDaniel pleaded guilty. He wrote a chilling confession as part of his plea deal. On June 27th at 4:30 a.m., he used a master key to enter her apartment. He stood over her bed, wearing black clothes, gloves, and a mask. She awoke, called his name. He strangled her for over 15 minutes. He left her body in the tub all day. That night, he dismembered her using the hacksaw, disposed of most remains across campus, and flushed the gloves, the mask, and the shirt. Forensic analysis confirmed a faint transfer of blood on the hacksaw blade and faint drag marks leading from the bedroom to the bathroom. Chapter 10. The Pattern. Psychological profilers noted classic indicators of a stalker evolving into a killer: social isolation, digital obsession with the victim, escalation from voyeurism to fantasy to physical attack, belief in personal superiority. Dr. Laura Rivers, a forensic psychologist, concluded McDaniel is a classic example of narcissistic psychopathy masked in academia. Chapter 11. Aftermath and Appeals. Stephen was sentenced to life with no chance of parole until 2041. He has since filed multiple appeals. He claimed coercion, ineffective counsel, and police intimidation. All were denied. In a handwritten motion, he claimed a seizure during an interrogation and said officers threatened to withhold medical care unless he complied. Lauren's family never relented. They created the Lauren Teresa Giddings Scholarship, hosted annual 5Ks, and continued Pink Wednesdays in her memory. Stephen's father started a GoFundMe to raise $300,000 for legal appeals. It raised nothing. It was removed within days. Chapter 12. Parallels. Sound familiar? Obsessive loner, high-achieving student, crime without forced entry, missing clothing, single-trace DNA, digital breadcrumbs. One name echoes in comparison: Brian Kohberger. As the McDaniel case shows, intelligence can be a smokescreen. Evil can be articulate, and justice sometimes lies not in the obvious, but in the digital fingerprints we leave behind. Chapter 13, Parallels and Warnings. Sound familiar? The Stephen McDaniel case echoes across decades. In fact, there are two men whose physiological profiles intertwine chillingly with McDaniel's: Brian Kohberger and Ted Bundy. Brian Kohberger, a criminology PhD student accused of the Idaho 4 murders, shares disturbing similarities with McDaniel. Both were academically accomplished, law, criminology, socially alienated but intellectually praised, obsessed with their victims, known to insert themselves near the crime scene. Brian's return to Moscow, McDaniel joining the search. Engaged in digital voyeurism and obsessive surveillance, both were described by classmates as intelligent but off. Both were accused of executing crimes that involved stalking, obsession, and precise planning. Both had extremely limited social circles. The key difference: Kohberger allegedly left behind one trace of DNA, a knife sheath, and has yet to be tried, while McDaniel confessed and was convicted. Ted Bundy, decades earlier, set the prototype for intelligent, outwardly charming serial offenders. Bundy, McDaniel, and Kohberger share the following: law background: Bundy and McDaniel studied law. Charm masking psychopathy, an inflated sense of intellectual superiority, pre-crime surveillance and target selection, cold, emotionless post-crime detachment. Bundy often returned to the crime scene or inserted himself into investigations, mirroring McDaniel's choice to talk with the media and Kohberger's cross-country drive while under surveillance. However, Bundy's crimes were serial, chaotic, and impulsive at times. McDaniel and Kohberger reflect more methodical, surgically precise planning consistent with modern psychopathy. Forensic psychologist Dr. Rivers explains what separates Bundy from McDaniel and Kohberger: the digital age. Bundy operated in the dark. McDaniel and Kohberger both left behind a forensic constellation, search history, stalker maps, and data footprints to form psychological profiles long before they act. In comparing all three, the conclusion is chilling. Intelligence can be weaponized. Isolation is a fertile ground for obsessive fantasy. Digital surveillance creates predators that don't need to touch the victim until the final act. McDaniel is a cautionary tale. Kohberger may be a contemporary manifestation, and Bundy was a blueprint. All three remind us monsters don't wear masks, they wear resumes. Chapter 14: How to Protect Yourself from Predators like McDaniel, Kohberger, and Bundy. When the killer isn't a stranger in the alley but the classmate, the neighbor, or the person smiling from across the hall, protection becomes psychological, environmental, and digital. Number one, trust your instincts. Lauren Giddings felt it. Something was off. She sensed someone had entered her apartment, even without signs of forced entry. That gut feeling is primal and often correct. If something feels wrong, it is wrong. Act on that instinct. Document it. Tell someone. Over communicate your concern to family or friends. Number two, control your environment. Install door cameras, smart locks, and motion sensors. Use door jammers and internal locks, especially in apartments or dorm style housing. Cover your windows and limit what strangers can see from the outside. Predators often stalk by sight first. McDaniel watched Lauren through a window. Surveillance was his weapon. Number three, be aware of manipulative behavior. Many predators, like Bundy or McDaniel, appear normal or even helpful. They're often overly polite or hyper-analytical. They may mirror your interests and passively involved in your routines. Predators seek proximity, not connection. They often fake friendship to study habits and isolate you. Number four, secure your digital life. Limit what you share on social media, especially real time locations or routines. Use two factor authentication on everything. Check if any unfamiliar devices are logged into your accounts, Google, Cloud, etc. McDaniel stalked Lauren digitally and in real life. Many modern predators start online first. Number five, build a safety network. Check in regularly with someone. Create a code red phrase you can text or say if something feels off. Make sure friends know your location, sharing settings, and routines. Isolation enables control. Predators look for people who won't be missed for a day or two. Number six, document, report, repeat. If you suspect someone is watching or harassing you, document it. Text, emails, timestamps. Report it early to campus security, HR, law enforcement, or a trusted authority. Keep a written log of all incidents, no matter how small they feel. Lauren shared her concerns in an email. The digital trail became evidence. Number seven, know the signs of escalation. If someone monitors your schedule, breaks boundaries repeatedly, uses guilt as silence as control, appears unexpectedly in private or vulnerable spaces, then you are possibly dealing with a fixated or obsessed personality. Escalation is predictable and preventable when you take early signs seriously. The final thought. Predators like McDaniel, Koberger, and Bundy don't always show their face until it's too late, but they leave breadcrumbs long before the crime, online, in behavior, in small boundary violations. Protecting yourself starts by refusing to dismiss your instincts. The afterword. Evil doesn't always look evil. Sometimes it smiles, sometimes it studies law, and sometimes it lives right next door. This is 12 Gauge Investigative. Stay vigilant, stay aware, and never assume silence means safety. Till next time.
Thank you for visiting 12 Gauge Investigative True Crime. Tune in soon for more insightful cases.